Those are the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. You can see them up in the top corner there. I am Anthony Hartwig, and I am your gracious host. And now, for the foreseeable future, you have Running Point for an hour and 1 to 2 every day. And other than Mondays and Fridays with Ty, it's all me. It's all me. This is what you get. This is what you asked for. Be careful what you wish for. But this is Running Point once again, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin. We're going to have a fun show for you today from 1 to 2. Got plenty of interviews from a couple of different sports as well. We're going to have Meredith Hart, who is a senior captain of the Crestview volleyball team. Got a chance to talk with her this morning before the show. Going to play that interview for you guys. And it is also, as you know, November 1st. So it's the first day in November, which means basketball season just 2 weeks away. We're getting our previews underway as well with our coaches' corners in the basketball realm. I said realm again. DJ's going to hear that. I just know it. In the basketball world. And that'll be fun because we have a coaches' corner with Ryan Snyder of the Lisbon girls basketball team. We're going to talk to him. Ty got to talk with him, I should say, yesterday about the preview of the girls basketball team. Ty did a great job with that interview. We're going to hear from him. And then if we have time, we also have a basketball preview with Nick Blanche of the Poland girls basketball team. He is, it's a perfect segue because he is actually patiently waiting for soccer athletes that are on his roster. And that's what we have to talk about today before we get to our interviews, because it is regional semifinal day on the soccer field. It is girls soccer day today. Boys soccer will be tomorrow. We have plenty of matchups in both, and we have plenty of YSN teams in both boys and girls soccer still fighting for a regional championship. But today is the one that is kind of exciting because we have in Division 3 and Division 2 a regional semifinal with 2 YSN teams. So we are guaranteed a regional finalist at least in Divisions 3 and Divisions 2. It doesn't get much better if you're a YSN fan, right? Doesn't get much better because you look at it and that means the odds are in our favor that we will have at least one soccer team make it to the state tournament, whether it be on the boys or girls side, because we have a lot of teams left and there are just 16 teams left in each division. So you look at that, you do the math if you want to on your own. That means the odds are ever in our favor that we will get someone in that state tournament, which is always nice to see from our YSN family. Tonight, we're going to start with the Division 3 girls soccer regional final. It is going to be at 5 o'clock in Ravenna, and it is a round 3 matchup between Poland and Lakeview, NE8 rivals that fought all season for the top of the NE8, and it's kind of two different landscapes too, because Poland has been a very respectable and successful program for a while. Lakeview is in the middle of a great turnaround. They had a losing record last year. They put together an amazing season this year, came just short of an NE8 championship, losing both their matchups to Poland earlier in the season. But those are their only 2 losses. You look at Lakeview coming into tonight 16-2-1, and they were able to beat Waterloo in penalty kicks in the district championship. So they could be riding high on that momentum wave too. You beat someone like that, you have that kind of emotional lift going into a district championship, or I should say winning a district championship going in to a regional semifinal, then that can give you a whole lot of steam. But Poland has their number, 17-3-0. They don't have any ties. They have 3 losses, but 2 of those wins are against Lakeview. And really, you look at both those matchups, and they really were not close. Poland won the first one back in the start of the season. It was actually back in the late weeks of September, on September 20th. It was a 3-0 win over Lakeview for Poland, and their defense held tight. But then you look at their offense. 3 different players scored for Poland, with Sofia Generalovic scoring, and then you had Ava Blinsky scoring, and then you had the really impressive freshman Elena Thompson scoring as well in that 3-0 win. And what you don't see in this box score for Poland, which is what I think has to make them feel pretty good about this matchup, is the fact that Ariana Daniels did not score in either one of these 2 matchups. We'll talk about the second one in a bit. But you have so much of an offensive threat. Ariana Daniels, who you can find a player profile for on ysnlive.com, just went up this morning, by the way. She is their leading scorer. She has 26 goals in the season. She broke the Poland record for goals in a season. She's a very talented soccer player. But you look at this offense in both the matchups with Lakeview and really most of the season, it was other players that hurt the Bulldogs. I should say hurt the Lakeview Bulldogs, because Generalovic pitched in a goal. You had Thompson pitch in a goal, and then you had Blinsky pitch in a goal as well. When you have secondary scores like that and you have such a well-balanced offense, really hard to defend. And then you look at the second matchup with Lakeview, it was more of the same thing. It was a 2-0 win for Poland. And if you look at the stats for this one, same story. Ariana Daniels was held in check, did not score a goal, but you had Generalovic score and you had you had Thompson score. So those are 2 games where you had secondary scorers for Poland score both the goals, and then the defense was just on lock. Goaltending in the second matchup, Leanna Williams had 3 saves in 80 minutes. And then you look at the first matchup, and we'll bring up the save numbers for the first matchup as well for Poland, because obviously they pitched a shutout. 3 saves. So 3 saves apiece. So in 2 matchups, Lakeview has only gotten 6 shots on goal that needed to be saved by the goalkeeper of Poland. So their offense just needs to do a little bit of a better job trying to put pressure on this really good Poland defense, which I think is underrated. You look at the scoring they've been able to do. We're going to bring up their scoring numbers real quick for you here, because they have 4 players with double-digit goals on the season. You got Generalovic, who finished with 19. You have Ava Blinsky, who finished with 16. You have Elena Thompson, who finished with 15. And then Ariana Daniels, who led the team with 26 goals. And once again, broke that Poland record for most goals in a season. But then you even have, you have a couple of players with 2. You have a player with 5, a player with 4. This offense is really well spread out. There are a lot of people that can hurt you if you're not careful. In fact, you look at it, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to count up the players that have scored for Poland. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. They've had 16 different players score a goal this season. And when you think of a team like that so offensive minded, you'd think, well, maybe their defense lets up a little bit, but no, not really. You look at their defensive stats, and they've had 75 saves as a team. Williams has 74 of them, and she has 1362 minutes played. So 74 saves, that's a great number for a goalkeeper in 20 games played. That's just over 3 saves per game. It means that Poland not putting a lot of pressure on their goaltender to make a lot of saves. Their defense is doing their job, keeping the ball out of their own zone and making sure that other teams don't have a lot of strikes where you do have a lot of pressure if you're Leanne Williams. I mean, on average, you're only having to save just under four balls per match. So great defense for Poland. They're NE8 champions. But then you look at Lakeview. We'll talk about them for a little bit too, because obviously they're a great team and they won a district championship. Usually it is Lexi Busefink that does a lot of damage for the Bulldogs, but a good omen for them in the district championship. It was actually Anastasia Hall that scored both of their goals in regulation in that 2-2 tie they won the penalty kick 6-4 over Waterloo. So maybe some more of an offensive threat in Anastasia Hall, who put together a great district championship. But Lexi Busefink is definitely the star of the Lakeview Bulldogs soccer team. We had a chance to talk with her earlier in the season. If you want to hear that interview, you can head over to ysnlive.com and check that out. But when you look at Busefink, she's such a good soccer player. She's been on Steel Valley Soccer's player to watch list pretty much all season. She's one of the best in the area, and she is a big reason why this Lakeview team has made such a dramatic turnaround. I talked about this year. They are 15-3-1. I want to look at last year's record in 2021-2022. Yeah, they were 4-9-1 last year, and they matched up with Poland. And instead of, remember I said in the first game they lost 3-0, the second game they lost 2-0. Last year they lost to Poland 8-0 in the first matchup, and they lost to Poland in the second matchup 5-0. So you look at this team; they're trying to beat a team that they haven't scored on in 2 straight seasons. And they've been outscored in the last 4 matchups with Poland. What is that? 3-2 is 5. 10, 18-0 in 4 matches in four games. So Lakeview definitely wants to kind of get that bulldog-sized monkey off their back today, and they could very well do it. Like I said, they're the team that's rolling with a lot of momentum, winning that game in penalty kicks over a very strong Waterloo team that a lot of people were so high on to win that district. And it was a district championship that also featured, by the way, YSN. Poland also matched up with a YSN team as well. So Poland versus Lakeview tonight at 5. And then the winner in Region 9 will go on to play on Saturday at 1. The other side of that regional bracket, by the way, if you're wondering, for Poland and Lakeview, is Doylestown Chippewa and Akron Manchester. They're also playing today, but they're a little bit later. So it'll be a 6:30 start time for that one. So works out pretty well. Pullman and Lakeview, whoever comes out of that game can sit back and maybe catch the end of scoreboard watching for that Chippewa and Manchester game and see the end of that. And then I'm sure both those, whoever wins, will have a lot of tape on either one of those teams as you go along. So you have Tuesday, and then don't play again until Saturday. So you get what, 3 full days to prepare for whoever you're going to play. That game on Saturday for whoever wins this matchup between Poland and Lakeview is going to be at 1:00 at Howland. So Howland will host the regional final, which is funny because Howland is closer to Poland and Lakeview than Ravenna is, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of funny that you have to go further away for your regional semifinal against a local team than you do in your regional final against a less local team in Doylestown, Chippewa, or Akron, Manchester. I would have thought that would have been flipped, where you go to Ravenna, which is still, maybe 15-20 minutes from Akron, and then probably a little bit longer for Poland or Lakeview. That would have made more sense. Ravenna in the finals and then Howland in the semifinals, but it didn't work out that way. That this is how the schedule is, and they will play the regional final at Howland on Saturday at 1:00. The other regional semifinal tonight, which is also just as exciting, is going to be Canfield versus West Branch. West Branch undefeated on the season still, 15-0-3 on the year. Canfield 16-2-1. They will match up at 6:00 tonight at Boardman. So a local regional semifinal this time around. Obviously, West Branch beat Canfield way back in August, 4-1, and that was the first win that West Branch had against Canfield in a long time. They seem to play each other every year. These two teams are some of the most successful and what's the word I'm looking for? The successful and tradition-based programs in the girls' soccer area in the area. Because you look at it in Canfield, they've done nothing except win 11 straight AAC championships, and then West Branch is right behind them, tying with Salem this year, but still getting a piece of that EBC championship, and I believe that's the 10th straight for West Branch. So they've both won double-digit consecutive conference championships. They're both pretty successful when you look at what their tournaments runs have been able to do, and they both have coaches that have been doing it for a while now. Coach Simone from Canfield, no one's really touching it. He's been doing it for 29 years. So, he's been doing it for a long, long time. But Coach Fico going into her 9th season at West Branch, and we talked to her earlier in the year, like, how were you able to build this? And she was frank with us. She said, hey, when I got here, it was already kind of building. So this program has been very successful even before Cheryl Fico was able to take over as the West Branch head coach over there with soccer. But you look at both these matchups, they both have really, really shining stars that you got to talk about. For West Branch, it's been a lot about Chloe Dennison this year. She's been such a good threat for them on offense. But of late, you see more players starting to really, trickle into that limelight, into those articles, into the stat column. Bree Thomas has been doing a really good job with that. And for West Branch, also Sophia Gregory, very athletic athlete for West Branch that has done wonders for their defense. And that's why they're undefeated. Canfield, it's Macy Toporser. She might be one of the best players in the area. When you look at it, committed to go play in Division One at Purdue Fort Wayne. Had a chance to talk with her a little bit earlier on in the season. A fantastic leader for this team. And when you look at it, Canfield is so lucky to have a player like Macy Toporser lead this team. So it's going to be a good matchup tonight. Like I said, the first time they matched up, West Branch won 4-1, and that was kind of a relief for West Branch. They got their first win over Canfield in a long, long time. So can they do it again? This is kind of like when we talked about Jefferson football last week. It's like we beat Poland for the first time ever, but now we have to go do it again. And Jefferson actually did it. They beat Poland 14-13. So I guess the question remains is, can West Branch do it again and beat a team that overall they've had trouble with, but this season they get a big win? Can they go and beat them again? Everything on the line this time around. The winner goes to the regional final, and let's go and look at that regional bracket in Division 2 and see what these two teams have ahead of them if they're lucky enough to win. Winner of this one, let me find them on the regional bracket. Winner of this one, this is in Region 5. Winner of this one will play the winner of Archbishop Hoban and Bay Village Bay. That'll be on Saturday at 11 a.m. And the site for that regional final is going to be in Twinsburg Tiger Stadium in Ravenna. So funny that Poland and Lakeview are playing in Ravenna, but they're playing at Ravenna High School, same town though. And then Canfield and West Branch, whoever wins that game, will play in the regional finals, also in Ravenna. So we're going to be spending a lot of time in the town of Ravenna in the next couple of days. But you look at it, and Region 5 features West Branch, Canfield, Hoban, and Bay Village Bay. And those two teams, everyone knows what Bay Village Bay brings to soccer. But then Akron Hoban seems like they're good at everything, especially on the girls' side of sports. You look at their girls' basketball team, they're rearing up for another great season. They're one of the teams that everyone talks about as a state championship contender every year. And then, their soccer team, not slouching either. Hoban always puts together strong athletics. But Bay Village Bay, that's this soccer central, right? So we're going to have to see who comes out of the second half of that regional bracket. But the winner of West Branch Canfield will play them on Saturday at 11 at Twinsburg High School for the regional championship. But that'll do it for what games we have going on tonight. 2 regional semifinals between 4 YSN teams, and we are guaranteed 2 regional finalists when it's all said and done tonight. And then tomorrow, we'll talk more about these games tomorrow on the show, but just a little preview into what tomorrow is going to see for the boys soccer. We're going to have Howland versus Poland, which is another YSN matchup. That game will be in Streetsboro. Those two teams met in August, and it was a Howland win in Division 3. We're going to have Mooney versus Wycliffe at Boardman High School for that one. And Mooney defeated Crestview. Wycliffe just defeated Crestview in the district championship. Those are the only common opponents, by the way, that Mooney and Wycliffe have. So big time for soccer. We have, 4 6, 7 teams total that are in regional semifinals. So it's going to be a fun time the next 2 days to see who kind of pops out of those regional semifinals, who we have left in the regional finals, and we hope that we can go Division II. Obviously, we're going to go Division II for girls and boys, and we hope that we can also get Cardinal Mooney in there too, so we can have the clean sweep on both sides of the divisions with boys and girls. It's the first year since 1994 that Poland girls and Poland boys soccer have both won a district championship. So it's an exciting time to be a Bulldog. That is for sure. Soccer, make sure to get out tonight. We're going to look at the Storm Tracker 21 app and see what the weather will look like if you're going to go and support these soccer athletes. Going to be pretty good. The sun will come out at 5 o'clock, according to the Storm Tracker 21 app, and your high is 64. So it's going to be a nice night to go and watch some soccer. Once again, if you're going to the Poland game, Poland Lakeview, you're going to go to Ravenna, and then West Branch and Canfield going to be squaring off in Boardman for their regional semifinal. Poland and Lakeview will play at 5 o'clock in Ravenna, and Canfield and West Branch are a 6 o'clock tip-off. It's not basketball yet, Anthony. Slow down. We have some basketball interviews that we're going to get to, but it's not tip-off yet. It's kickoff still. It's going to be a 6 o'clock kickoff for West Branch and Canfield at Boardman tonight. So make sure to go check out both those teams. Weather looks pretty good for both. We're going to take our first break of the day, and when we come back, we'll get to some basketball previews on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
I support police funding, securing our borders, and parental rights in education. I'm attorney Mark Hanai, the only Republican running for the 7th District Court of Appeals. I will always follow the law.
Paid for by the committee to elect Mark Hanai judge. Dave Johnson, chairman.
Fall is in the air. The kids are back to school, crowds are cheering for the home team, and Myers Family Insurance is prepped for another crazy Medicare season. Every year there's changes, some big, some small, so it's important to have a conversation to make sure your plan is going to meet your expectations for the coming year. Give our team a call today to schedule your annual review.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance or visit us on the web. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com.
Locally owned and operated, Sheely's relaxed shopping experience means browsing and lounging is always encouraged.
Find Flex Deal and more at Sheely's Furniture and Appliance, because the best things in life happen at home.
I'm Mark Hanai, a conservative Republican. I believe in family values, the Second Amendment, and our Constitution. Vote for the only Republican running for the 7th District Court of Appeals. Protect your rights. Vote Hanai for judge.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. As promised, we do have our first girls basketball preview of the year. But before we get to that, it is volleyball that's going to take center stage because they are still in their regionals, and it is going to be a conversation with one of their seniors and the captain of this Crestview volleyball team that has won their 4th straight district championship of the program, and it is the only team in Crestview's athletic department that has won 4 straight district championships. So we're excited for them. They're going to go down to Barberton on Thursday and play Mineral Lake Catholic. That game will be brought to you by ysnlive.com. We'll have that game broadcasted for you. I will make the trip down to Barberton. We're going to have some fun with the Rebels. Hope they can get the win over that big Lake Catholic team that is ranked number 1 in the state. But they have definitely proven that they can compete against these state-ranked teams. They've beaten 2 of them just to win a district. Had a chance to talk with Meredith Hart, who is one of the seniors and one of the captains of this volleyball team this morning, and I hope you enjoyed this interview with Meredith from Crestview Volleyball. And by Meredith Hart. Meredith, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, that's good. We were having a little bit of issues in the beginning, but now I got it. You are a captain of this volleyball team, so that's the first thing I want to lead off with is what's it like being a captain and being trusted with that leadership on the floor?
Honestly, it feels good to me for my team picking me. Coach Howard, she lets our team pick, and beginning of the season, coach came up to me and said, "Hey, you're team captain." I felt confident that my team trusts me to help them lead throughout the season.
What do you think it was that your team saw in you that made them want to vote you as a captain? What kind of leadership do you think you bring to the table?
The confidence and if someone has a bad day, I say, "Hey, you got this." Just everybody has a bad day, and it's going to come to you.
That's one of the things that we noticed really quickly about this volleyball team. They are so positive on the court. The energy is so positive. For you personally, I mean, what kind of things do you do to make sure that you're staying upbeat and staying positive and staying encouraging on the court, even when those very rare bad moments for this team happens?
Honestly, it just whenever I'm off the court helps me. Whenever Grace or Abby has an amazing kill, and it's like I get so pumped, and that helps the team. Whenever you're pumped and so excited for the team, it gets your positive attitude.
Grace and Abby get a lot of the limelight as well. They should. They get a lot of kills and they get a lot of assists, doubles, triple doubles. Man, you do a lot of the dirty work back there in the back row, keeping balls in the air. What's it like for you to do that kind of stuff and to know that you're really setting up your team for success?
I try the hardest. Sometimes you don't read it right, and it's like whenever you get the dig or amazing pass, it feels good. It's like, all right, now my team can take it away and finish it.
You are obviously under one of the most respected volleyball coaches in the area, maybe in the state, if you really think about it. What's it been like for you to be under Coach Hauer, and what kind of things has she taught you?
Oh my gosh, Coach Hauer, she's an amazing coach. Honestly, what she taught me is that, volleyball is just, it's made out of mistakes. You're going to have mistakes. And whenever you make it, you got to forget that mistake and move on and get the next point. And I think that's what our team did against Kirtland.
What is one thing that you think that people might not know about Alicia Howard that you think they should?
She is a hardworking coach. She'll make practice fun, but she also has intense practice. She'll get mad, but for next point she'll be happy. And it's just you have to be yourself and just have confidence, and she'll be a good coach.
So you brought up this game against Kirtland, and I want to talk about this district tournament as a whole because a lot of good teams in this bracket. You guys beat two good ones to win a district championship. What did that feel like, kind of, accomplishing this goal, but doing it against teams that were real high quality volleyball teams?
Oh my gosh. It honestly feels really good because these two teams were really big, and we were preparing for them for a couple weeks, and it gives us more confidence going into the regionals and going pretty far in it.
All right, that's 4 district championships in a row. What's that feel like? I mean, to know that you guys have been so dominant in such a vast stretch of time.
My gosh, I'm pretty proud of my program. It's been an honor being in this program, winning district 4 times in a row. That's unbelievable. No other sport in our school has done that. Coach Howard talked to us about that yesterday. It's like we're the only team out of sport in our school winning 4 times in a row, and it's like a miracle that has ever happened.
All right, so you talk about the success this program has had. It definitely didn't start 4 years ago. It's been a successful program for quite some time. When you were stepping into it, was there ever any kind of pressure or daunting kind of nerves for trying to hold up the legacy that the Crestview volleyball already held?
Oh, definitely at first, but I think after our team lost to Gerard, I think we realized, okay, the pressure's off, and now we had to work, get it back, our confidence back, and just play our game. And that's what we brought during Lakeview and Kirtland. And now we can see, all right, we can be like them and not have any pressure on us.
I want to talk about that Gerard and the fifth game back to back. It was a Saturday. It was a Monday. You really didn't have a practice between. Obviously, you guys, those were the only 2 losses of your season. Coach Howard talked about the first practice after that and how it wasn't like immediately we need to fix this. What kind of advantage did that give you guys, knowing that the coaching staff did not come in the very next practice and just harp on the mistakes you guys made in the last 2 matches?
Our coaches are really good. They're very helpful with our mental. After those 2 games, we need a mental break. We can't go in a hard practice after 2 hard games that we lost, and it's just having a fun game practice really helps our mental ability to get better.
Speaking of fun practices, I didn't see on social media the serving with your eyes closed video that popped up for you guys, and of course, Coach Howard came up and did it almost perfectly. What kind of things does that do for this team? Yeah, having fun like that, other bonding experiences. What are your favorite some of your favorite bonding experiences with this program?
Bonding is very important for our team. We do. I'll say one of our bondings we do every week is we go to one of our teachers on Wednesdays, and he talks about God with us and how it involves with sports, and that really brings us together and just have a good time with him too. And we go out, to Orange Leaf, or we have team dinner today, and it's that type of team bonding gets us closer, and getting ready for a game really helps with that.
How well can you serve with your eyes closed?
I totally missed it, to be honest.
You look at you as a junior, you're going to go into your senior year next year, and obviously a great senior class this season. What kind of things do you think they've taught you about what you're going to have to be doing next year as a senior leader?
I'm actually a senior leader. From being last year as a junior, it's those seniors taught me very well of having fun and not to be stressed over stuff. And what I've probably lead example for the next juniors is that we don't need to be stressed out for stuff, and that having fun and just getting out of your head helps a lot for the sport, because when you're in your head, it's not the greatest thing during volleyball.
Sorry about that. Your profile said class of 24, so I thought obviously junior. So I'll flip that question. Last year's seniors, obviously it was a great senior class last year too. What did they teach you about being a senior leader that you brought into this season?
I'd say just being confident is one thing, and also just involve the little ones in with you. We have some couple freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, and you have to bring them in so you can get them under their wing so they can be successful, and having fun with them is more important for the game.
What about the kids that go even beyond the freshmen of the team, the middle school team, and then the little girls that want to kind of be like you when they grow up? What kind of things does this program do to make sure they're encouraged and supported and held up as well?
That is we had some good staff. When I was in 7th grade, we had Coach Straney, and she was a great coach. She retired a couple years ago, but we added some new coaches, and these coaches are from Crestview. They're alumni of volleyball, and from taking that, it helps our team, our program from little kids to bring up, and which really helps for it. Just for doing a camp in the summer helps them. The high schoolers do a camp with them, and do some basic stuff, and it like really helps them to understand the volleyball and the love for volleyball that we have.
What's it mean to you that there are little girls that are looking at you saying that they want to be you when they get to the varsity level? They want to be this successful. They want to win 4 straight district championships. They want to be a captain on the floor.
Honestly, that is amazing. I was that little kid too, looking at the varsity girls, and it's like, wow, I want to be them. And it feels good to have that, because you're setting an example, and that you're showing them, hey, it's fun to have this type of program, and just encourage them to do it.
So were there any players that you zeroed out or you circled when you were little that you looked at and wanted to be like when you grew up?
Yes. Brenna Hour is one of the girls. She graduated about 3 years ago. I looked up to her when I was little. I was like, wow, I want to be her. And one of our coaches, our assistant coach, Casey Landsberger, I looked up to her whenever I was little. It was like saying, wow, I want to be her.
That's got to be a surreal moment, being coached by someone that you looked up to, and being able to get all the knowledge in the world from her. Now that you're in the varsity level, I want to talk a little bit about your family. Are you in a big family, a small family? What kind of things make your family so special to you?
I like a medium-sized family. I have two parents, and I have 2 older brothers. My family, they are very supportive of me. I'm the youngest out of both my 2 brothers. My brothers are 26 and 24. I've been pushed around by them, but they make me the person who I am today. And my brother I'm hoping he's coming to my game tomorrow, Thursday. And he's a personal trainer, and it's like, it means to me that he comes, he supports me. And if he does, like, that's the greatest, but I know he has to work.
The baby of the family. What's that been like to have those older brothers that like you said, they put you around a little bit, but they're also, I'm sure, great sources of mentorship, and like they've been through what you've been through before because they went through that age as well. What's that been like to have that kind of dynamic with 2 older brothers?
It's pretty good. It's hard for the little child as me, because my 2 older brothers are a lot older than me. I don't see them anymore, but when I see them, it's been like a great time having time with them. We laugh now, and like they push me to be tough. For diving, and if I get hurt, I get back up, and it's like, all right, I'm ready for the next play, just because they push me so hard to be the person.
What is one of your favorite family traditions that you guys have as a family?
Oh, my favorite tradition. I have to say, going on vacation in Fort Myers. Sadly, the hurricane hit that place, and we're not be able to go this summer. But we've been going there since I was little, and it's been a nice place to go with my family and connect.
I'm guessing that's your favorite vacation you've been to. What's one place that you've never been on vacation to that you'd like to go to?
Oh, I just wanted to go to Greece. Just that place, it just connects to me. It's like, I want to go there. See all the history in that.
Wow, where'd that idea come from? Where'd the fascination of Greece come from?
I have to say, my dad likes to, his work travels a lot, so I've gone to a bunch of places before. 3 years ago, I went to Rome for my dad's business, and all the history and clicks with me, and like I'm thinking one day if my dad goes to Greece, I would love to go with him, and that is like one of the places. It's history, and I want to do the history.
How many different countries have you been to?
I just say, if I had to count right now, probably at least 3 different countries.
Wow. What about have you also been to a lot of the states of our country? How many states have you been to, do you think?
I want to say maybe at least 10 of them.
We're gonna have to go on a world tour with Meredith Hart. Give you a microphone, you can vlog the whole time. It'll be fun. Take YSN everywhere you go. Maybe we'll have a YSN Rome. Who
All right.
knows? One of the things I want to talk about before we let you go, obviously this team has been to Barberton before. It's their 4th straight trip there. What kind of experiences are you guys leading up to this game on Thursday that help you be prepared for the moment in that Purple Palace?
Honestly, not to get nervous. I know probably last year, the seniors in the team last year was probably nervous, and we had to go in of not to get nervous, but like to have confidence. Our coaches are so confident with us. I never see my assistant coach so confident with this team for a while, and she's super confident, and like we just had to have that with us, and we also had to be on our game the whole entire time. We can't be nerves and cause us to make mistakes. We had to make smart plays to get those points.
All right, we've talked about your family. I want to really quick just talk about your future plans and where you want to see yourself after you graduate high school.
Yeah, my future plans. I'm planning on go to college to be an animal physical therapist. I don't know what college yet, but I'm looking at that right now.
All right, Meredith, thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great rest of the school day. Good luck on Thursday. We look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Hey, thank you. You too.
That was Meredith Hart of the Crestview volleyball team, a senior and a captain and a definite leader of the team. And one of the things that really stands out if you watch Crestview about Meredith Hart is positive energy. She is a spark plug, and she always seems to make really big plays in really big moments. In that Kirtland matchup in the district championship, down the stretch, especially in those last 5 points that Crestview was able to get to seal it. They had a lot of big digs out of the back row, but she had quite a few of them herself out of that back row, getting that offense right in the system and giving Crestview what they needed to pound through for that district championship. So we want to thank Meredith for her time and being able to talk with us. And that was a great interview. We're going to have more interviews with Crestview and Wellsville as the week goes on, because Wellsville is also playing in a regional semifinal on Thursday. They'll be going up into Strongsville High School, and they will play St. Thomas, not St. Thomas Aquinas, I'm sorry. They will play Ashtabula St. John in the regional semifinals. That was a team they matched up with last year. And last year's matchup went Wellsville's way pretty handily. Obviously, the Heralds are going to try to make that a different story this year. They have Gabby Johnston leading them in kills with 270 plus. So they have a shining superstar in their own right that the Tigers will have to deal with. But we'll talk to Alana Amato tonight, so we'll be able to play her interview either tomorrow or Thursday before that regional semifinal. And we'll also try to get some more Wellsville players before that game as well. We're also going to be talking to Emily Downey from Crestview tonight. And we also talked with Alicia Hour this morning. So we're going to be able to play those interviews this week before that regional semifinal. We're going to have the week stocked and loaded with coverage from Barberton and Strongsville High School, as Wellsville and Crestview both fight for a spot in that regional final, which would be on Saturday. But before we get to any of that and how we want to close out the show today, I want to give you your first basketball preview of the season. The calendar flips to November, and believe it or not, we are just 2 weeks away from the start of the girls basketball season. The official start day for that is November 18th, which is very soon. It is, it's 2 weeks from Friday. So just over 2 weeks. But we have a chance to preview the Lisbon girls basketball program in their season. Ty Bartell had a chance to catch up with their coach, and let's hear from him.
Welcome in, everyone. Ty Bartell in with another Coach's Corner. This time we're going over into the Lisbon country with the Lady Blue Devils girls basketball coach, Ryan Snyder. Coach, how we doing today?
I am great. How about you, Ty?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad, and I'm sure you're not doing too bad getting up and gearing up for the season coming up here. I mean, looking at this team, Coach, just looking at the schedule you guys had last year, one thing I noticed right off the bat A lot of these conference games that you guys had struggles with early in the season, you guys made adjustments and were able to pick up wins. Teams like Valley Christian, teams like Columbiana later in the season. What did you see? What did you see from the growth aspect from your team last year that enabled you to have so much success in the second half of the year? And how excited are you to bring that team back?
Oh, it's the growth of the now juniors that made a huge impact. So that makes this year even more exciting. Is we were still young. We had sophomores that were playing full varsity that never really had varsity experience that are now the core of our team. And all those adjustments were, we made adjustments here with the game plan here and there, but it was just growing up from those sophomores throughout the season that made that huge difference. When we got cracked by Columbiana the first time and then turned around and beat them the second time, that was a lot of growth from a lot of younger players that just made that huge step for us. And they're now juniors and are way ahead of where we were last year that way. So I'm really, really excited for all of our juniors that are playing again this year that are going to make that next step from, hey, we're role players, we're relying on our seniors, to, hey, we are the team now.
No doubt, this has got to be exciting times in the Lisbon community. Why don't we take the time to meet the team or meet some big names that are going to be playing for the Lisbon Lady Blue Devils basketball team, and maybe some new names too that we should get accustomed with this year.
So we have Morgan Lively will be our main post player, and she played a huge role for us last year, and she's really developed all last year, all summer, and she's really working hard again this summer. Brooklyn Cousins, she's returning for us. Cammie Freeland, who's returning for us. Serenity Stacy, those are 4 big juniors that are going to be playing big roles. We also have a couple other juniors that are going to be stepping up for us. Hopefully, Alyssa Wells, Amori Ramos. Juniors that will be stepping up for us. And then we have 7 incoming freshmen that are really going to take some spots in the varsity time. So we have high expectations for our freshmen. And this is the first year since I've taken over as head coach where I literally mobile practice said, hey, you 5 go that way, you 5 go that way, and tell them to go put it in our offense. And they're able to put it in separately. And then we scrimmage, and it is competitive scrimmages every single day, which is a world of difference to be able to put your best 5 against your next best 5 and have it competitive, as opposed to having to give the second 5 a 15-point lead to make it competitive.
Now, Coach, if we were to take that second half of the year, you guys were right there at the tops of the conference standings. And if we take a first half of the year away, obviously every year you go into it, you want to win the conference. I'm sure that's every team's goal. But there's got to be serious conversations inside this Lisbon program about you guys coming on top of that EOAC this year.
Hey, and a lot of it depends on how quick those freshmen become developed enough to be able to contribute big. And there's a few of them right now that have made that step. One of the best things about this team that I absolutely love, we did our summer league Tuesday, Thursdays, and then we went away for 3 days to Sandusky to a summer camp. We had all of our summer and every single practice and scrimmage and our camp, the entire team was there, which is, I got chills just talking about it right now. It's rare when you get an entire team to commit all summer. So those freshmen I'm talking about that need to make that big step and play significant varsity minutes, they made that big step in the summer. So league-wise, that's your goal every year, no matter whether or not you think you're going to win it or not. But we have to compete with United. They're back-to-back defending champions, and they bring everybody back again. I know Coach Leak taking over down there will make a big step with them too. They're not going to lose a stride with them. And then Southern, they're going to be a beast down there. They're nothing but pressure the entire game from tip off to final buzzer. They're going to give you fits the entire game. And then after that, there's the rest of our league. There's not a big drop off from those 2 to the rest of our league. We're all right in that same mix.
What is your coach's eye look for then for these incoming freshmen? What are the skill set? What are the attitudes supposed to be like? Like, if I'm a freshman coming on your team, what are some things that I need to do to impress you, get some starting minutes?
Do the hustle every single day. Hustle and being a great teammate. And it's being a great teammate is the first step. That's our biggest rule. Always be a good teammate. Being a good teammate is that hustle every day, work every day. know your role offensively, know your role defensively, and to be able to contribute at the varsity level, you have to be able to take that. That's a big jump from junior high to varsity. You have to be able to go from running basic junior high offenses to more complex varsity offenses and know where you're supposed to be every single step of it. And with the group we have, those freshmen have to know it's not just the old school, hey, you're a post, you're a guard, that's the only spot you're going to run. We want to play 8, 9 girls this year, so they're going to have to know anywhere from point guard. There's some girls that are going to know point guard, guard, and post, know all 3 of those positions. So those incoming freshmen, they have to be able to do all those things, do the little things. But the biggest thing, hustle and be a good teammate, and they are those without any doubt in my mind.
No doubt, you being a head coach, you're having a big impact on a lot of these young ladies' lives. But I'm curious, on the flip side, who's had that big impact on you? Who was that person that, I don't know, gave you some advice or maybe had something that stuck with you as a coach throughout all these years? What got you into coaching, and what's some advice that you've taken along the way that's really helped you out?
That Coach Henschke was the one that got me into coaching. He was the girls' coach for 10 years originally, and then came back and did it for 4 years before I took over. He was the one that got me into coaching when I was at college. He was my JV coach. I was at college, and he invited me over for dinner when I was at Mountain. He lived right by Mount Union. And I walked over, and he was on the phone with somebody and just said, hey, there's a good person to be your freshman girls coach. So that's how I got into coaching there, and he's been a huge impact throughout. And one of the things that I'll never forget, Coach Sifke he won 4 or 5 straight TCL championships when he was a coach. And I asked him about coaching girls. I said, hey, what's your advice? He said, treat them the same way you would treat a boy. He said, you don't treat them different because they're girls. Basketball players, treat them the same. And that impacted me. Just, yes, they're the same, but there's a whole lot of differences, but they're still just basketball players that way, and that side of it. And especially now, Coach B, because my assistant coach, she has such a huge impact on me. I mean, she is absolutely amazing. She sees things on the floor, off the floor that I don't see, and she's a huge contributor to so many different things that I can't even express how thankful I am that she's on staff.
Speaking of that staff, we can go right into that. I want to give you that chance too. Why don't you highlight the staff that you got for this 2022-23 edition of the Lisbon Blue Devils?
So Coach Meek, that was one of when I took over, she was the first person I asked to be on staff. That was my biggest number one goal before any basketball was to get her on staff. And she thankfully said yes. So she's been with me for 3 years. And like I said, she is a major impact. The girls love her. She knows her basketball. She ran the point guard for our Final Four team that made it to state in 1989. So she knows everything. She knows what it takes to have a winning program. And then our junior high level, we have Coach John Bryan. He's new to us this year. He's coached all around the area. He has 50 years of experience. So anytime you can bring somebody on like that to be able to coach your younger kids is amazing, because you know that they're going to come up to the high school level knowing the fundamentals and knowing all of the basics of basketball. So they're already going to be ahead of everything. And then he's been up with the JV and varsity a lot, helping out in between anytime he can. And we talk a ton. So anytime you can bring that wealth of knowledge onto your staff, it's a great thing to add to you.
Beyond the staff too, I want to talk about the parents in this community of Lisbon, because it really is something special. Lisbon has been one of those communities that has just wrapped its arms around this school too the last few years, no matter what the situation is. And I gotta figure coaching and just being a part of this community and this school every day is something special. What can you say, or put into words if you can, what it means to coach and represent this community, or being able to do so yet again this year with this team?
So I graduated from Lisbon. I now teach in Lisbon. I love Lisbon. I literally bleed blue and white. I thought it was a stupid saying when I hear people say that, until you actually get back into the community after you are done with high school and you're lucky enough to come back to your hometown and coach and teach there. And I literally do bleed blue and white. And they are, no matter what we do, our community is so supportive. Our round ball club, which is our booster club, Renee Barnes, Deb Ford, Carrie Sturgeon, I cannot say thank you enough to them. the girls are so lucky our girls and boys programs are so lucky to have that support from those three running our round ball club, that financially we were able to afford a lot of things that other schools aren't as lucky to have as that. So that trip to our basketball camp, we went to Sandusky as a team, got an Airbnb, did our basketball camp, and then spent the day at Cedar Point. And the round ball club was able to help pay for the majority of all of that. And I'm just shocked every year when we do that, how many girls don't get to do that on a regular basis, don't get to go take a 3-day vacation, even though it was basketball related. It's still a 3-day vacation to go get an Airbnb, stay together as a team. But it's thanks to the Round Ball Club and all the hard work they do and all the community support that we get financially and just being at games and all kinds of other support. So I love Lisbon. I can't imagine being any other spot than Lisbon.
You mentioned being at the games, and why don't we highlight the games on this schedule? Obviously, you guys have the EOAC slate that you usually do, but it looks like you guys got some Buckeye 8 OVAC opponents in there as well. Let's talk about the conference. That's going to be tough. We already talked about that, obviously, but let's talk about the non-conference. I mean, what are these non-conference games looking like, and how excited are you to gear up to play some of these teams non-conference?
So we picked up East Liverpool for 2 games this year. That's new to our schedule. That's a bigger school than us, obviously. So that's nice to be able to play a bigger school. They're going to be very, very competitive. They like to press. They like to run. That'll be a fun game to be a part of either side, because we want to try and push the pace a little bit more this year than we have in the past. We have Beaver Local again. They'll be really competitive. We start off with Malvern, and they have, I can't think of the girl's name off the top of my head, but she is a stud. And that'll be a really tough one. And then Western Reserve, I know we have them right around Christmas time, and they are always a Division IV powerhouse in our district that are compete for district every year. So our out-of-conference schedule is a little tougher than we usually go, and that's a good thing for us. You love the competition. I'd rather be playing the tougher competition every single game than going to roll a ball out and go in against somebody that's not as strong.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe your home opener is going to be the 5th of December, and I think you're going to be hosting Columbiana in a conference matchup. So that should be fun too. We talked about it too. You talked about the freshmen coming along and everything that you guys are going to need to win the conference. But I want to talk about these senior leaders before we let you go, and some of just the leadership that you've seen on the court too. Who are you going to be relying on as sort of your on-court coaches? Who's going to be able to kind of keep the team mellow out there? And who is really going to be those girls that you're going to be leaning on to handle things on the court when you can't be there?
Yeah, the biggest surprise this year, and I've told her, is Brooklyn Cousins has taken it to another level that we never saw last year. She's come in this season and went from hey, I'm going to be okay, to I'm leading by effort, and her voice is out there every single day. She knows she'll run our point for us. She'll run guard. I think she could run post for us, even though she is one of the shorter girls on our team. She's very knowledgeable with all the spots, so that she could go in and run post if we needed to her in some point. But she is right now one of our best leaders by example, and that sometimes is more important than the boisterous leader out there. Morgan Lively, same thing. Every single day, you know what you're getting out of her. She is going to lead by example on there. Just the effort out of those two is where the expectation is for all of them. Now, I say that and I highlight those two, I don't have to worry about practice. I don't have to worry about games. The effort is there from every single player on that roster, which is unbelievable. This has been the most fun so far in the first week and a half, 2 weeks of the season that we've ever had coaching, because we can literally just roll the ball out, and no matter what drill you're doing, it's competitive. You've got people on the floor. We've got people banging against each other. Every single practice, every single minute is nothing but intensity, which is amazing.
That is the Coach's Corner with Ryan Snyder from the Lisbon Girls Basketball Program. Thank him for his time. That'll do it for today's episode of Running Point. We'll be back tomorrow from 1 to 2. We have Matt Reel live on the show. We'll have other interviews also to play. It's going to be a fun time. 1 to 2 tomorrow. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next. Power Hour from 3 to 4. Thank you so much for tuning in today. to Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood